What's up, everybody? Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today, we're talking about Machamp, this Gen 1 fighting type Pokemon. Very old boy, very strong boy, still pretty good, still usable. Pretty low tier, definitely niche. However, a really cool option if you don't feel like using some of the top meta Pokemon. You want a little break from those boys, give Machamp a shot. This Pokemon's pretty cool. It has Guts, which is an amazing ability. Whenever you're induced by any status, burn, paralyze, sleep, poison, freeze, then you are increased damage by 50%, which is pretty good. Like, in general, really good. And put that on top of our attack, which is 130, our base attack, really good. And then also burn is unaffected, or the burn lowering attack is not applied, which is really good because we're gonna get burned because we're using Flame Orb. So yeah, but this Pokemon is pretty cool. Mono fighting type gives us three resistances, 3 weaknesses in general, which is pretty good. Resistances: Bug, Rock, Dark, which are all pretty big. You know, not really Bug, but Rock and Dark are really big in the meta. Weaknesses: Flying, Psychic, Fairy, which are all pretty big in the meta as well. And you know, we have our biggest guys in the meta being a Fairy Flying Togekiss. Really shows off a bit of a problem, but we have Rock Slide. You can use Ice Punch. We have a lot of things that can deal with that, which is pretty good. Into our stats, we have HP 90, which is not bad. 80 defense and 85 special defense. So overall, not bad in the bulk area. You know, not bad. We have pretty solid HP and defenses in general, which is good. 130 attack, which is massive. This Pokemon really hits hard. And then 65 special attack, which we don't really care about. And then 55 speed, which is pretty good for like such a heavy hitting bulky Pokemon. I mean, we see the same, right around the same speed tier as Conkeldurr, which is the most used Pokemon that is similar to this Pokemon. And it's pretty cool for Machamp to be at such a normal speed tier. I mean, it's not fast. You could even run it Trick Room potentially. You just run min speed, but it's like kind of a bad speed for Trick Room because every other Pokemon in Trick Room just outspeeds it. Like other Pokemon that are slow just outspeed it, which is annoying. But it is what it is. We'll go ahead and jump on past our overview into our build now. Let me move myself down so it doesn't look weird. So, into our build, Machamp. This Pokemon's actually pretty cool. So, ability Guts, like I was saying, giving us that 50% increase on attack whenever we're statused, and then our item is Flame Orb so that we get that guaranteed status. We're running Protect on our boy as well so that we can protect turn 1, and then at the end of the turn, go ahead and activate our Flame Orb, and then boom, next turn we're hitting hard with Guts, which is cool. You can always run this Pokemon min speed as well, like I was saying earlier, and then run Protect. Your partner Pokemon sets Trick Room for you, and then next turn you're just punching guys with all 4 of your arms, and it's pretty cool. However, if you run up against any Trick Room team, it could be a problem. Although granted, you can then just reverse the Trick Room if they set it, or just don't set it if they think you're gonna set it. And yeah, could be interesting. But you definitely have to know how to play that matchup pretty well with this Pokemon. So definitely test it a lot if that's what you want to do. But we're not running it like that. We're just running it base here without having to have a partner that says Trick Room. You know, into our moves. So we have Close Combat, Rock Slide, Bullet Punch, and Protect. Like I was saying, Protect is really just to activate your Flame Orb. It's also just good in general, you know, being able to protect like a scary attack, have your partner really deal some damage. We have a couple of partners right there and there that can help with that, which is pretty cool. So we have Rock Slide, which is good, or Close Combat, which is good. It's just our, you know, our best stab physical attacking move. It's good. Close Combat's really good, and it gets huge. It deals so much damage with Guts, Flame Orb. You're just killing everything, which is good. Then we have Rock Slide. Rock Slide's good. It hits both Pokemon. It's really good against things like the Togekiss, like I was saying, just birds in general, flyers in general, hitting things like the Braviary, the Togekiss, other flying guys. What else? Why can't I think of anything off the top of my head? Oh well. It's good. Rock Slide's good. It also has a chance of flinches, and it hits both Pokemon. It's good. Rock Slide's a good move. Then next we have Bullet Punch. This gives us a priority attack. It's also Steel, which is pretty cool. Rock Slide plus Bullet Punch can be a 2-turn knockout against something like Togekiss. However, if it has weakness policy or that Braviary, you know, might put a little thing in that plan, bolt in that plan. What's that saying? Kink in the plan? I don't know. Something. It'll mess up the plan. but Bullet Punch is good. Giving us just a priority move since we're so slow is really good. I really wish we had Mach Punch so we could have a stab priority move. But, I mean, Bullet Punch still does a lot of damage with Flame Orb activated, so the Guts takes in effect, and you get a lot of damage and a lot of mileage off of having that, which is good. Into our flex moves, we have a good bit of other moves that we can use. So we have Ice Punch / Thunder Punch. Both are pretty good. Ice Punch is good against Togekiss, mostly. Like, that's a really big thing about Ice Punch that's good. We saw that running on some Conkeldurs to have that. However, Rock Slide is really good as well. Doesn't deal as much damage, and it's also doesn't always hit. So, like, Ice Punch is a really good option. Then we also have Knockoff, which is also really good against that Psychic weakness that we have. It also hits things like Dusclops and knocks off the Eviolite and hits really hard, as well as hitting, like, Milotic, take off that little bit of recovery with the leftovers. Also hitting Lapras, hitting off their weakness policy, which is really good. Same with Rhyperior. Hitting off those weakness policies can be really, really detrimental to a weakness policy spread, which is really good. Knockoff is really good. Next, we have Poison Jab, which is good against Fairy-type Pokemon in general, which is good because Fairy-type gives this Pokemon a bit of a hard time, especially like Togekiss, and not limited to just Togekiss. This is just good against like Sylveon, the Togekiss, other Fairy-type Pokemon, Mimikyu, but Ghost-like resisted, so I don't know. Other Pokemon. It's just good in general. Like, Poison Jab is good. It also offers a chance to hit the poison. Can't think of words. I suck with my words. I have them in here, but it's hard to bring them out. You know what I mean. So yeah, Poison Jab is good. Then we have Wide Guard, which is actually really good too. It's Protect for double attacking moves, multi-targeting moves. So things like Dazzling Gleam, Wide Guard just protects you from for the turn, which is really good. And it also has Rock Slide, Earthquake, moves like that, Discharge. Like, it's just a good move in general. Wide Guard is definitely a good option that you can have on this Pokemon. We've seen it on things like Hitmontop in the past. Other Pokemon, Hariyama. We've seen it on a couple of Pokemon in the past, which is good. Wide Guard's a good move in general. Then we have Facade, which gets more damage whenever you're induced with any kind of status. So you get a Facade, the move doubles. So it's 70 base power. It goes to 140. And then Guts gives you a 1.5 times. It's not Stab, but still, that's a lot of damage that you can get off on Facade, which is really good. And it hits a lot of like things that, like Close Combat or Rock Slide or Bullet Punch can resist. So Facade is just a good move in general. We have it featured on our single Spotlight build. I like Facade. I think it's really good. Next, we have High Horsepower. High Horsepower is really good. It's just a ground attacking move. It's a good max move as well. If you max Pokemon, having a special defense booster is pretty good. I just like it. I think it's good. Then onto our investments here. It's very basic, just 252 into HP and 252 into attack, just giving us like a lot of attack and HP, like general bulk in general is just good on this Pokemon. It doesn't really get enough speed to like max out in speed and be very good off of that speed, so we're just running like HP and attack just to do the most out of it. Next, for our synergetic Pokemon, we have Excadrill as our first one. First off, you can Dynamax this Pokemon and get big boosts with defense and special defense because it has Max Quake and Max Steel Spike, which is always good. It also hits super effective damage on flying and flying and fairy type Pokemon, which is really good. Being able to hit Steel, super effective Steel damage onto a fairy type Pokemon, kind of just clearing the way for Machamp to kind of just like be there and be a really physical attacking presence, which is really good. It also, like I said, Max Steel Spike. It hits your weakness. Max Rockfall hits weakness, but more importantly, it also gives really good secondary effects with max moves in general. Just buffing the defense and special defense of this Pokemon and the Excadrill is really, really good. Then we have Chandelure. I just wanted a Pokemon that has Trick Room as an option, so that if you run up against a Pokemon that or a team that doesn't have Trick Room, you can set Trick Room and then kind of just sweep everything with Machamp, and that's kind of a good backup plan that you can go. It can also reverse Trick Room against Trick Room matchups, because against Trick Room, you're faster than every Pokemon on their team, so you can reset the Trick Room and then be faster. Or against teams that aren't Trick Room, you can then activate Trick Room. It's just good in general to have a Trick Room Pokemon on a Pokemon like this that's like fairly slow. So yeah, that's good. We'll go ahead and jump on to our speed calcs here. Speed tiers, not speed calcs. Speed tiers. We are here, right there at right there. Machamp 75. We're pretty slow. We're not very fast. There's a lot of stuff that we do outspeed, things like Conkeldurr, Uninvested, and Gothitelle, Hindering. These Pokemon can outspeed you, but probably won't. Gastrodon will usually not, like almost always not outspeed us, and then same with Jellicent, usually not going to be outspeeding us. Jellicent can run Hindering, it can run not Hindering, and and then be able to outspeed us. However, right now, like usually you'll see it Hindering. It's usually going to be able to like Trick Room, set Trick Room for like your team. But it can also be used on a team that doesn't really use Trick Room, but be able to reset it, kind of like the Chandelure that I was just explaining. But yeah, we'll usually outspeed it, so which is good. Next, things that we don't outspeed, things that outspeed us is Scrafty, Uninvested. It's usually going to be like Uninvested. It's not going to be Hindering. Like you'll never see Scrafty Hindering probably, and Scrafty will outspeed us. Although it's very trended down. Like we just won't see Scrafty in general very frequently. Next, we have Sylveon and Lapras. Lapras sometimes will be ran min speed, which will be down like below us, and we'll be able to outspeed Lapras. But I wouldn't like expect that. I would usually expect it at 0 speed, which is Uninvested, which is at 80. So Lapras will usually be outspeeding us. Sylveon will always be outspeeding us. It'll never be ran Hindering. I mean, maybe it will. Like if on a Trick Room team, it might, but very unlikely. Then next we have Tyranitar being outspeeding us at Uninvested. It's always going to be outspeeding us. It'll never run Hindering. So that's pretty annoying. But we do a lot of damage with close combat. And if we had Mach Punch, we could just kill it immediately. But we don't have Mach Punch, which is unfortunate. That's why we see like Conkeldurr like running so rampant. Well, that's not the only reason we see Conkeldurr running rampant. But yeah, they're both good. Conkeldurr and Machamp are both good. Next, we have Alcremie at Uninvested. Alcremie has been trending up recently, mostly to the Alcremie Lapras team that won that spring challenge, mid-season showdown, whatever it was that it won. And we see Alcremie a lot now. And Alcremie Uninvested will outspeed us and has access to Dazzling Gleam, which can just kill us, which is annoying, but is what it is. And then Togekiss up there, Uninvested. Togekiss will always be outspeeding us, and which is really, really bad for us because it deals a lot of damage. And if it's max invested and max Dazzling Gleam, what's that move? Max Starfall. If it max Starfalls us, then we take damage and die. Yeah, you just get O-code. Next, we have our damage calcs. So I'll move up in a minute. However, when we start this off, we have Guts boosted Dynamaxed Machamp Max Rockfall into a Togekiss, a fairly defensive 252 HP and 116 defense Togekiss, fairly defensive Togekiss. With Guts activated, all these are Guts boosted, by the way. Like, so you just like protect your first turn, and then Guts activates, or like Flame Orb activates, and then you're good to go. So against a Togekiss, we'll hit 117 to 139% guaranteed OHKOing it with Max Rockfall if it does not Dynamax and if it's pretty bulky, which is really good. And then with Rock Slide, if we don't Dynamax, then we only hit 51 to 60%, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, but still like Rock Slide, it might miss, you know, during those 2 turns. So that's like really unfortunate for us. Then next we have Guts boosted Machamp Close Combat into Excadrill Dynamaxed, hitting 137 to 161%, which is really, really good. Being able to just like have a really good matchup against the Excadrill. Next we have our Intimidated Guts boosted, so essentially just neutral. The Machamp Close Combat into an Incineroar at 236 HP and especially defensive, because that's like most of the builds on Incineroar typically. We are hitting 121 to 144% even after the Intimidate, but only after Guts boost. If it Intimidates on the first turn and you go for a close combat, we're not going to be able to OHKO, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So yeah, hitting 121 to 144 guaranteed OHKO on an Incineroar is really, really good, just in general. Next, we have Guts boosted Machamp Close Combat into a defensive Milotic, 250 max invested HP and defense. We're hitting 70 to 83%, which is good. Means unfortunately for us, Milotic does outspeed us. So if it goes for Coil and then Recover and then Coil, it has a really good matchup against the Machamp, because it'll just be able to live the whole time. Depending on the Pokemon that you pair it with against the Milotic, you can potentially double down and just kill it turn 1. Since most commonly they don't run Protect, they usually just run like the Coil, Recovery, you know, 1 attack move, Hypnosis. Like that's usually the current build right now with Milotic, which is like insanely popular. You see Milotic, you know, 1 out of 4 teams, 1 out of 3 teams that you play against online. So yeah, having not the best matchup, but depending on like what your partner Pokemon is, you can just take it down immediately, which is really good. Next we have the weakness policy Rhyperior. Don't ask me why this was the one that I did, because I just did this one. I don't know why. I just felt like it was good. But weakness policy, max invested Rhyperior Drill Run. So this is supposed to be max quick. So if it maxes, which is always going to max, it's going to OHKO you. So we have a really bad matchup against Rhyperior. I had it in my head differently, but oh well. That's going to be it for our damage calcs. We'll go ahead and talk about Single Spotlight real quick, and then I'm out. So for Single Spotlight, this Pokemon is pretty cool. It's actually like has a pretty solid placement in the meta. You know, it being able to use the Guts Flame Orb. We're max invested into speed and attack so that we just deal as much damage as possible and as fast as possible. Only hitting 107 is not amazing. Mind you, like we're not insanely fast, but we actually hit really, really hard and can tank up a lot of damage from a lot of different Pokemon. Having Close Combat Knockoff, Facade, and Bullet Punch is a pretty good like moveset, and once Flame Orb is activated, you're in a really good position. You can tank a lot of attacks from like moves like Scald and like Poison Jab that have that secondary effect, because if you get burned or anything, you don't care. Yeah, it's completely fine because you're gonna get burned at the end of the turn anyway, so it doesn't matter. And being able to hit like Close Combat Knockoff Facade like into a lot of Pokemon for a lot of damage is really good anyway. Facade is mostly on there to be able to attack like flying type Pokemon and just Pokemon that resist like all your other attacks. Facade just hits neutral damage, but it hits double because you're Flame Orbed and Guts boosted, so it's just really, really hard hitting, which is just really good in general. So yeah, that's about it for Machamp in singles and VGC. I think it's definitely pretty promising in singles, and it's very underrated in VGC. You can use it if you want to take a break from using Conkeldurr, which everybody and their mom is using right now. Conkeldurr is everywhere. You see it like so frequently. I mean, it's probably like it's definitely top 10 Pokemon currently in our meta as far as like usage stats go. But yeah, Machamp is pretty cool. Definitely worth giving a shot if you want to play this Pokemon. Do it up. Anyway, that's going to be it for the rest of our video, for the rest of today. Probably, I don't know. It's going to be the rest of this video, at least. That's it. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, or if you like Machamp, that guy. Like and subscribe. It means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good evening. It's like 2 for me. Have a good day. Have a good month. Bye.